two other women. The victims were all from Leslie County, where a vigil starts in about an hour. Phil Pendleton is there with our top story at 4.
A candlelight vigil will take place here tonight at 5 o'clock, an hour from now, at the Wolf & Sons Funeral Home in Hyden, a funeral home that now has the task of 2 funerals on the same day for all of these victims the day before Christmas Eve. We're learning more about the tragic crash and what the victims were doing the day that they died. Relatives tell me that Tiffany Williams Morgan had a doctor's appointment in Lexington because she was due with Easton Bailey. They were returning from that when the crash happened. Now, she, along with her grandmother, Judy Pennington Adams, her nearly 2-year-old son, Tyson, and family friend Charlene Lewis all died at the crash. Police say a truck driven by Jason Gibson crossed the center line of the Howell Rogers Parkway and crashed into the car that they were in.
That prayers keep coming. That's all we can do is comfort with prayers. It's the hardest thing that I've ever faced in my life, and hope it's the last thing that I face in my life.
The crash remains under investigation by Kentucky State Police, yet they do suspect that alcohol and drugs played a role. Gibson remains at UK Hospital. Coming up at 5 o'clock, more on how these families are being remembered and what's being done to help them through this very difficult time. In Hyden, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The 2 funerals are scheduled for Wednesday. Judy Pennington Adams, Tiffany Williams Morgan, her son Kyson, and her unborn child Easton will be Wednesday at noon at the Rock House Pentecostal Church. Charlene Lewis's funeral will be at 2 o'clock at Stinnett Church of Christ. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. The Kentucky Parole Board denied convicted killer Karen Brown's request for parole this morning. Brown, who has spent about 30 years in prison, appeared before the Parole Board this morning for the second time in about 4 years. Brown was convicted in a deadly love triangle where she held down Michael Turpin, her girlfriend's husband, when he was stabbed to death as part of a murder-for-hire plot. The Parole Board determined that Brown, who was convicted of murder in 1986, will need to spend another 5 years in prison. Brown would be eligible to appear before the Parole Board again in 2020. We'll have more from this morning's hearing on WKYT News at 5. The Better Business Bureau is warning fans to use caution when purchasing tickets through secondary markets. They say only tickets purchased directly from the UK Ticket Office, Rupp Arena Box Office, Ticketmaster, Ticket Exchange, or through UK FastPass are guaranteed to be valid. Tickets purchased through any other sources may not be authentic, keeping some fans from walking through the turnstiles and ultimately missing out on a game. We'll have more on what you need to know ahead on WKYT News